be for Halloween. And I said, well, who do you think the scariest character in the Tanakh is, in the Bible? Who do we think the scariest character is? And, I got a few answers. Abraham, kind of surprising. I got a few answers. Rachel, a little surprising. The answer that I got the most was God. In our world and in our Tanakh, sometimes we see some scary things. Sometimes we think that it's brought on by us through our own volition, through our own actions, and sometimes we hope it's not brought on by God. And yet, we keep something inside of our hearts and our souls, some knowledge, some understanding, that we will be able to keep faith in God, and that through that, we will get to be able to surpass, to walk through, to move through the world, even in the face of all of these scary things that surround us. Here, I thought the scariest character in the Tanakh was the golden calf. Even in this scary world, we take a moment, even in this darkness, even in our challenges, we take a moment to bring light into our world, and especially on Shabbat, we do so. We light 2 candles and we call up our bar mitzvah family for tomorrow. Max, come on up with your family, to lead us in the bringing of light, not only into our sanctuary, but beyond these walls, into our world.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen, amen. Max, it's not just that you're lighting the Shabbat candles tonight with your family, but tomorrow, when we see you up on this bima, ready and willing to take your place in the chain of tradition, Shalshelet Kabbalah, ready and willing to take ownership over your Jewish identity and to teach our congregation what it means to move through the world with love, you will be bringing light into each of our lives, into each of our worlds. So we thank you and we say Yishar Koach for lighting our candles, and a Yishar Koach in advance for all of the work that you will be doing on our bima tomorrow. Mazal Tov. We'll continue now on the screen with Lechune Ranana.
To see, hear our song.
Join with us.
listen with all of our hearts to hear God's voice.
We continue with Lechato D, page 138. We'll invite you, not quite yet, but in the last verse of Lechato D, the last of 4 that we'll sing together, to stand up and face our entrance as we welcome in our Shabbat bride. 138.
Shalom, atzeret bala, gam besimcha uvtzola. Tov emunei am segula, boi chala, boi chala.
standing for the Baruch Hu, our official call to prayer, page 146.
Baruch hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Va'ed.
Page 150.
Ahavat olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavcha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'nibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha uv'lechtecha b'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha ug'shartam le'ot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha uchtabtam al mezuzot beitecha uv'yisharecha Leman tizkeru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'item kedoshim le'Elohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem.
Adonai
Emet.
As we turn to the Micha Mocha, we remember with unbridled joy what it was like for our ancestors, what it must have been like to walk through a parted sea, something that God did for them. And we remember what it must have been like for them to set foot on dry land once again. After being chased by Pharaoh's men, they heard behind them the waves crash together. They may not have been unafraid at that moment, but at least they knew that they were free to be. Page 158.
Fada Adonai et Yaakov, ugealo miyad chazak mimenu. Baruch atah Adonai, Ka'al Yisrael.
Amen. Amidah, our moment to be face to face with God, page 164.
Yadadai, dai, dai, 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 yadadai, dai, dai. Adonai, sifatai tiftach, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotenu ve'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasarim Tovim, Vekonei Hakol, Vezocher Chastei Avot ve'Imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei Vneihem, Lema'an Shemo ve'Ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshia u'Magen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechaye hakol atarav lehoshia, Mashiv haruach umorid hagashem, Mechalkel chayim bechesed, Mechaye hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim verofei cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato, Lishene afar, Micha mocha Baal gevurot, Umido melach, Melech memit umechaye, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman ata le'achayot hakol, Baruch ata Adonai, Mechaye hakol. Ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, ukdoshim b'chol yom yehalelucha selah. Baruch ata Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
We continue now seated or standing in silent prayer. We, of course, have a millennia-old tradition in our Siddur, in Hebrew and in English, and yet we also have in these times the prayers of our hearts. Whichever one suits you at this moment, we'll continue in silent prayer.
Page 645. Lech lecha shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. Lechi lach.
An oldie but a goodie. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. It's wonderful to be here with you all. A few weeks ago, I had the pleasure and the privilege of attending an incredibly moving event, one that initially surpassed the boundaries of my own comfort, and yet perhaps because of that, was truly inspiring. In an artist's bungalow hidden away inside the elaborate labyrinth of the Lower East Side, a nonprofit organization, the Parents Circle Families Forum, held their gala. Before an intimate crowd, maybe 70 or so, sat 2 Israelis and 2 Palestinians side by side. Their common bond being that each of them had lost family members to the conflict. They sat in this order: Lior, a woman who lost her son, a first responder at Kfar Aza on October 7th, 2 years ago, to a Hamas terrorist. Almud, a young man, Palestinian, who had seen his 10-year-old sister shot by an Israeli sniper on their way to school. Dina, an older woman whose son had been killed by a Palestinian sniper in the West Bank while he was in the army several years prior. And Hassan, a middle-aged man who had lost his brother to settler violence. Interviewed by Krista Tippett, they told the stories of their loved ones and how PCFF had helped them to choose the path of reconciliation. Each of them shared that they were skeptical to attend their first PCFF meeting in Israel, that they had to be bribed by really good hummus or invited 3 or 4 or even 8 times, that they did not feel bought in their first time participating. They were consumed with anger. Their families and even they initially sought revenge against the other. But after hearing the other's stories, watching them move through the same raw emotions that they themselves felt, the psyche of a hardened populace began to crack within them. Israeli and Palestinian alike reported it was the first time that they saw the other side as human. This was perhaps most evident when, without prompting or pretense, while other panelists spoke, Dina, the older Israeli woman, and Almud, the younger Palestinian man, held hands across a small table sitting next to each other. Dina had reached out and grasped Almud, and he held her hand tightly. They both smiled, closed-mouthed smiles of deep hurt, but genuine love. Time seemed to stop in the room as all eyes focused on their 2 hands meeting. The idea that the shared bond of unfathomable loss might be stronger than that of hate. In the heart of our Parsha, there is a less appreciated story in which Avram, later Avraham or Abraham, and his nephew Lot are walking through the land. Each of them have amassed people, families, property, many, many animals, more than they can possibly count. To the point that our text tells us that their herdsmen fought against each other. Avram and Lot come together, or come to the conclusion that the land cannot support them staying yachdav, together. They resolve that they must go their separate ways. Unfortunately, this is the history of this part of the world, and it has played out again and again. One of reaching the sad conclusion that we, even Jew and Jew, uncle and nephew, that we are not able to walk hand in hand, that instead we must go our separate ways, even when it is clear that we are bound together, bound on this land. Those of us who were around, and even those of us who were not, have a distinct memory in our minds of the incredible handshake that took place after the signing of the Oslo Accords between Yitzhak Rabin and Yasser Arafat. We especially remember this historic moment as we commemorate Rabin's 30th Hebrew yahrzeit this past week, and the English anniversary of his death coming up on November 4th, this coming week. But this beautiful grasping of hands, this moment in which all of the eyes of the world were on just these two hands, was not exactly what it seemed behind the scenes. After decades of conflict, the most recent being the First Intifada, Rabin's camp was not convinced that this was the right thing to do. Even after coming face to face with the enemy to discuss peace in Oslo, how could they sign a deal with those who only sought to kill them? Arafat's chief of staff even called Clinton the night before to say that he wasn't sure that Arafat was going to show. And yet the next morning, all three men came together. Clinton bringing both men together, touching each of their shoulders, so that they would, in fact, clasp hands. They did not put aside their animosity, but they did walk toward the path of peace. Though afterward, Rabin's assassination and death perhaps showed us that the forces of separation might have overpowered the forces of joining hands. It was just a couple days after, maybe even one day after, all of the living hostages had been returned, that this Parents' Circle Gala met. Every single person in the room, Israeli, Palestinian, all sighed sighs of relief. All of us, too, sighed a sigh of relief. And last week, when some of us hung up our dog tags and pushed our pins into a bulletin board right over here, feel free to do so after the service, if you're feeling ready. We also sighed a sigh of relief. Still today, 13 deceased hostages remain in Gaza. And yet, we have an opportunity to allow the forces of clasping hands to be stronger than those of hands separated. There is an amazing teaching in the Zohar, the book that was written by our mystics, the mystics of our tradition, that talks about gematria, in which every Hebrew letter has a number attached to it. And it says, how much is a hand? The letters are Yud and then Daled. Yud being the 10th letter in the Hebrew alphabet, and Daled being the 4th letter in the Hebrew alphabet. Thus, forming the number 14. A hand is 14. But when two hands come together, they create 28. Does anybody know the two letters that create the number 28? The 20th letter of the Hebrew alphabet is a kaf, and the 8th letter of the Hebrew alphabet is a chet. They come together to create the word koach, strength. When we clasp our hands, when we braid our fingers together like the challah, it is not just that we are forming a bond that is strong. It is that we are engaging in our millennia-old tradition that says when we come together, we represent strength. That when we shake hands with the other, when we shake hands with our fellow Jew with whom we do not agree, we are able to move forward in strength. May each of us come to embody this and embody the legacy that Yitzhak Rabin left us. Embody a path of reconciliation, a path of peace, the only one that we know is stronger than hate. Shabbat Shalom. We'll continue with our Misha Berach, seeking healing of body, mind, and spirit for those who are in need. Our community is thinking of Victor and Susan Shedlin, Jeffrey Millman, Roslyn Corin, Elizabeth Dankner, Sora Fagel Bela Bat Chana, Nancy Carver, Naomi Bat Esther, Tim Sharp, Shelley Nadler, and Helen Brown. If there are any people on your heart, people who are in need of healing of mind, body, and spirit, I'll invite you to add their names as my hand passes through the room. We'll continue with the Misha Berach, page 371.
Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Refuah Shlema, may all of them have a full and speedy healing. We'll continue with our Aleinu. We invite the congregation to rise in body or in spirit, page 586.
Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon ha'kol, la'tzeit gedula le'otzer breshit, shelo asanu kegoyei ha'aratzot, velo samanu kemishbechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam, va'anachnu korim, ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Fall leaves fall, die flowers away. Lengthen night and shorten day, every leaf speaks bliss to me. Fluttering from the autumn tree, I shall smile when wreaths of snow blossom where the rose should go. I shall sing when night's decay ushers in a drearier day. Today, we don't only acknowledge Yitzhak Rabin's yahrzeit, but also the yahrzeit of all of those who were taken from us before their time at the Tree of Life Synagogue in 2018. Each person, a tree in themselves, a leaf that fell too soon, a blossom that we did not get to see. We'll include their names in our yahrzeit memorial tonight. Each week here at WRT, we have the tradition of rising in the following order. If you buried your loved one in the last 7 days Shiv'ah, I'll invite you to rise. If it was in the last 30 days Shloshim, please rise. If you buried your loved one in the last year Shana, please rise. And if you come to synagogue today to commemorate the yahrzeit of your loved one, someone who passed at this time around years past, please rise. And finally, we who are seated, we look around at the mourners in our community, and as if to embrace them, we rise as well, as one. We are remembering those who passed in the last 3 weeks. Naomi Esther Kessler, mother of Susan Kessler Ross. Beth Dubrow, mother of Marcy Wexler and Erica Dubrow. Henry Rustin, father of Eileen Myers, Ann Pearl and Lillian Cuthbert. Lee Lobelson, grandmother of Rebecca Kirshner. Betty Bush, sister of Cantor Jack Mendelson and aunt of Cantor Danny Mendelson. We remember those who were taken from us at the Tree of Life. Joyce Feinberg, Richard Gottfried, Rose Mallinger, Jerry Rabinowitz, Cecil Rosenthal, David Rosenthal, Bernice Simon, Sylvan Simon, Daniel Stein, Melvin Wax, Irving Younger. And we remember those who passed in years past in our WRT community. Melanie Amarillo, Harrison Tyler Aarons, Leon Barbanel, Dorothy Block, Martin Block, Rose M. Broadwin, Dina J. Gold, Muriel Mutterpearl, Saul Summergrade, David Carlin, Emmanuel Chachkis, Ralph Cipernoy, Eva Dubrow, Milton Elkin, Sarah Ezra, Patricia Feynman, Kenneth Fieldston, Maxine Friedman, Jacob Friedman, Arnold Gatoff, John S. Gimish, Martin Samwick, Mark Goodman, Norman Green, Emmerich Gross, Bessie Haberman, Judy Herman, Susan Adler Kaplan, George Kempler, Philip Chrisberg, Lenore Leibstein, Ira Lee, Benjamin Lemberg, Bernice Levine, Edmund H. Mantell, Gail Meyer, Leon Milch, James Millen, Henry Pierce, Esther Perlis, Beverly Rylander, Ada Rosenfeld, Morton Rosenthal, Rachel B. Rosenthal, Ellie Rowan, Jack Schwartz, Lawrence Shapiro, Michael Shears, Howard Silfen, Irene Silfen, Maury Tai, Madeline Weinstein, Martin Wetstein, Gussie Wexler, and Herman Ziegler. If I inadvertently mispronounced your loved one's name, or you wish to add another name to this list of remembrances, I invite you to do so now. We'll continue with the Mourner's Kaddish. We're on page 598. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Be'alma divrach yiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh. B'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael. Ba galau v'zman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'lamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shmei dekudesha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemayam. V'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Osei shalom b'mromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen.
Ose shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru. Amen.
You may be seated. Zichronam livracha, may all of them and their memories be for a blessing, and may the way that we move through our world be a blessing upon their memories. We usually have our esteemed president today, but in his stead, since he's visiting his grandchildren in California, we have another board of our representatives of the trustees here at WRT, Cynthia Samwick, for our announcements.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for being with us on this beautiful Shabbat service. First and foremost, we want to express our deep gratitude to our clergy for leading us with such meaningful and inspiring service tonight. Your wisdom and guidance make Shabbat truly special, a time not only of rest, but of renewal for the soul. A heartfelt thank you to you as well, Mike, for your warm welcome as a greeter this evening. Mike, you always brighten our entrance with a smile that reminds us what it means to greet Shabbat with joy. We're so fortunate to have you with us. As we look ahead to tomorrow, we're excited to celebrate Max and his family, as well as Ella and her family. Mazal tov to you all. And later this week on Thursday, we'll be celebrating Jacob Waldman and his family. To all our upcoming B'nai Mitzvah students and their families, we wish you a meaningful and beautiful Simcha. May this milestone be filled with pride, love, and the blessings of our WRT community. For those who wish to continue their connection to Torah and community this weekend, tomorrow at 9 a.m., we will be having Sharing Shabbat and Torah Study, a wonderful opportunity to learn, reflect, and grow together. And on Sunday, from 12 to 1:30, we're fortunate to host a special program, Israel, the Last 30 Years, the Roots and Evolution of Israel Democracy, with Rabbi Jan Katsiu. Please feel free to bring your lunch and we'll provide the beverages. It promises to be a fascinating and timely discussion, and Mark and I hope to see you there. He told me to tell him that we'll be there, so we'll be there. Looking ahead to next week, on Thursday, November 6th, please join us at 10:15 for a Zoom study with Rabbi Blake and Rabbi Platkow. Then on Saturday, November 8th at 9 o'clock, we'll be piloting a brand new Reformed Torah commentary in a special program, and she said it's going to be awesome. And then finally, on Sunday, November 8th, at 9:30, we will join together with Greater Centennial AME Zion Church in Mount Vernon for a very special morning worship. This will be a beautiful opportunity to strengthen our bonds and build bridges with our neighbors. May this Shabbat remind us to walk forward with faith, with compassion, and with hope, wherever our journeys may lead. Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Cynthia, thank you for standing in graciously for Steve. We really appreciate that. And I'll just say that not tomorrow, though tomorrow's going to be an epic Torah study as well, but a week from tomorrow, we will be launching the brand new CCAR Reformed Torah Commentary, and it coincides with my wife's birthday. What an amazing birthday present that is for her. So join us, please, for that moment of real, wonderful Torah learning. The new Torah commentary has all kinds of different commentaries written not only by rabbis and cantors, but also by Jewish comedians, Jewish scientists, and it intertwines all of these different words of Torah with people who are at the tops of their field, similar to WRT. Please join us for that day, because it's going to be really special. We will continue with a Kiddush and Motzi, and we'll get there, Cantor. And we'd like to invite up another B'nai Mitzvah. Ella, would you like to come up and lead us in the Motzi? Please rise. You can go ahead.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho v'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron למעשה וראשית, כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר לציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים. ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
Amen. We invite you to reach out and grab hold to somebody's hand near you. We are all stronger when we link hands, when we link arms, when we braid ourselves together, just like our challah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
Join us in a special Adon Olam on page 625. Yeah.
אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא לעת נשא בחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא בידו אף כי